Team Fox coverage, Bill Malhusian's in Des Moines, legal analysis from Kerri Kupec Urbahn. But let's begin with Nate Foy. He's here in New York. Hi, Nate.
Hey, Dana. So we begin with a bit of breaking news. Police on Long Island investigated, according to a Fox source, a swatting incident at Justice Arthur Engoron's home. So already a contentious day as day 45 of this $370 million civil fraud trial is set to begin at 10 a.m. Former President Trump is not expected to deliver the closing arguments himself after his legal team and the judge could not agree on restrictions that former President Trump or about what he could say. Trump's legal team will be arguing on his behalf. That will be led by Chris Kise. The defense will be starting today's court proceedings at 10. Trump spent the night here at Trump Tower in Midtown Manhattan. When he arrives at the courthouse within the next hour, it would not be a surprise to hear him speak on his way inside the courtroom. Trump testified earlier in the trial. He, his adult sons, and several former Trump Organization executives are accused of defrauding banks and insurance companies by inflating their assets. Trump argues all the loans were paid back and there's no victim in this case. He calls it a political witch hunt brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James. She's again seeking $370 million in penalties and wants to ban Trump and his family from doing business in New York. This is one of 6 trials involving the former president. His defamation lawsuit trial with E. Jean Carroll is set to start next week. Trump separately faces the New York hush money case, the Georgia election interference case, and the federal cases involving January 6th and his alleged retention of classified documents. The civil fraud case today is a bench trial, which means Justice Arthur Engoron has sole discretion in deciding Trump's punishment. Now, keep in mind, Dana, Engoron ruled before this trial even started that Trump is liable for fraud. So this entire trial is more about just deciding the scope of it and his punishment. Engoron says that a written decision will be coming at the end of this month at the earliest. So a decision will not be coming today.
All right, Nate Foy, thank you. And Letitia James is the Attorney General. She put out a statement this morning echoing that. She said, remember, everybody, that the court ruled in our favor, found that Donald Trump engaged in years of significant financial fraud and unjustly enriched himself and his family. She says she's confident that the case they presented will end up being with the rule of law on their side. So you have that from her. Very unusual for an attorney general to spend all of her time in one particular courtroom for one particular case, but that's what she has decided to do.
As opposed to some states where you have state Supreme Court justices who are not elected, they're appointed. She was elected, and she campaigned for years about going after Donald Trump, and today she's going to have her say in court. Legal analysis now with our editor, Kerri Kupec Urbahn. And Kerri, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Take the legal question of what is fair and apply it to this case as it relates to other cases in the history of courtrooms in New York when it comes to real estate.
Well, according to our research, the law in New York in this case has never been applied against someone in the way that it's being applied against Donald Trump, full stop. Our research team, which includes lawyers here at Fox News, were unable to find even a single instance of finding someone liable for overinflating or allegedly overinflating their real estate values without a victim. This is why Donald Trump has continuously complained about this case, saying that it's a political hit job. As you just mentioned, the Attorney General there in New York campaigned on going after him. And he says she's doing this because she wants to prevent me from being president and because she didn't like my politics when I was.
We just heard from Nate Foy that the judge in this case apparently had a swatting incident at his home this morning. He also put this email out. It said, I won't debate this yet again. Take it or leave it, now or never. You have until noon, 7 minutes from now. I will not grant any further extensions, that he put in all caps. So he seems exasperated. Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, talked about this as well. Let's listen to her.
Effectively, he didn't want him to litigate the ugly parts of the case. He didn't want Donald Trump to say a lot of things that we would be saying. Now, I'm not sure why, because if you don't have him say it, I'm going to say it. Imagine free speech being completely slashed, not for a normal person, never mind us, but for the leading candidate of the Republican Party. It's so obvious what they're doing.
Kerri, this is all so unusual. We've pointed out all the interesting pieces of it. One of them would be that Donald Trump feels confident enough to have wanted to give his closing argument, and he will be denied that, but it's likely he would talk to the media. Does the judge in this case, if it's outside the courtroom, take any of that into account?
He could, and but with respect to inside the courtroom, a judge gets to decide how he or she runs his or her courtroom. So the judge here, my understanding was, yes, you can deliver a portion of your closing arguments. Of course, that's highly unusual. You would only typically see that in a pro se defendant. That's someone who represents themselves. But the judge said, yes, you can do that here, but you can't impugn me, my staff, the court system, the AG, and you can't make it a campaign speech. On its face, normally one would look at those parameters and say, okay, it's reasonable. The problem, though, of course, is that this goes to the heart of what Donald Trump has been arguing, saying it's a political hit job because the AG campaigned against me, and I'm running for president, and this is designed to prevent me from, inhibit me from doing so. So it's a tricky one, and obviously they weren't able to come to an agreement, so here we are.
So we would expect the judge to stand by his initial decision, and we will move toward an appeal, which could be kind of tricky in the state of New York, and we'll get into that later a bit today. Kerri, thank you. Nice to see you. We'll see the former president probably within about 45 minutes, I'd say. So stand by for that. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.